Subscribing to The Observer on YouTube couldn't be easier, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. First, navigate to www.youtube.com/theobservernj. Once you get there, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. Next to the subscribe button, click the down arrow and then all. And that's it. You're subscribed, and now anytime The Observer is live, you will be notified. Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Knesset coming to you live from the home studio today on this, the 8th day of July in the year 2025. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays, no matter where it is you are in the country. Here in the Northeast, it is 95 degrees. It is a hot one out there. So stay cool no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Stay hydrated. Tony's not with us this week, but he will be with me on Friday. We'll be doing a Friday segment throughout the summer because Tony has a couple of other obligations that he has to get to. So we will join Tony on Friday and bring you the weekend weather forecast. And I'm sure it's going to be another hot one this weekend. Now, since we are in the month of July, the dog months of the summer, it's always slower than it is during the school year. So it's been a little bit slower for us as well, and that does happen every summer. But there are a couple of things that I want to get to today, and it won't be the longest of broadcasts. But there's a few events that are coming up and a few things that happened that I just want to go over with you this week and things that are in this week's paper. But the first thing is this Touch a Truck event, which takes place on Saturday from noon to 3 p.m. over on Elm Street at the Kearney Belleville Elks. And this Touch a Truck event was put together by the Elks and Gloria Spence. And it's really for kids to get a chance to see trucks of all different kinds. And you see there are fire trucks, which I'm sure will be there as well. And the new Kearney Police Mobile Command Unit will also be present at this event. So if you have youngsters, excuse me, who maybe like to see some of these trucks, you get to go on them, play with them, do all sorts of great things. This event is for you, and it starts at noon this Saturday over at 601 Elm Street with the Kearney Elks. So head on over there. It should be a very, very enjoyable afternoon for all the young people and for some of the adults, too, who enjoy seeing trucks like that. So please head over on Saturday. That's coming up this weekend. And, of course, in the town of Kearney, there was the actual annual celebration of the 4th of July. More than 10,000 people were in attendance at the Veterans Field. This photo was taken by Ron Smits, the public information officer of the town of Kearney. He has a lot of photos that he took, and inside this edition and on the front page, there are photos from this great event. Ralph Kataffi has been doing this for a couple of years, for many years now. And when I tell you he puts on a tremendous show, the Recreation Commission, the mayor and the council, they really do an incredible job each and every July 4th. So if you were there, you know it was a great day. And I hope you enjoy some of the photos if you haven't seen them yet from that day, especially if you're over there. There's some great pictures with the kids. Check it out when you get a moment in this week's edition of the newspaper. Now, this is something that is a little bit on a personal level for me, for Lisa, for Bob, Michelle, everybody at the newspaper. And I want to explain something to you about what's going on right now in the state of New Jersey. But before I do that, I want to welcome in Chris Coughlin, who is here, and also Carol Manley, my birthday sister. Good afternoon. Good to see you all. Hope you're enjoying your days, no matter where it is you are. Carol, you're probably down the shore, right? Enjoying the Jersey Shore this time of year. All right, so back to what I was saying. Just a couple of months ago, we got notice that the Jersey Journal was closing for good and the Star Ledger was going to cease print operations. And when that happened, it was an opportunity for us as the only printed newspaper in Hudson County left to take on publishing what's called legal ads. And I think some of you have seen them, especially if you've picked up the paper in the last couple of weeks. You will see them each and every week. What they are notices from government agencies about contracts, about ordinances, about court cases, and things that are required by law to be put in the paper so that the public is aware of what's happening. Well, don't you know, last week, the state assembly, the state senate, and Governor Phil Murphy signed a new law which basically says that they don't have to do this anymore and that everything will be transferred onto a website for each individual municipality. And I don't want to make this sound like a complaint. In a way, it is, but you have to understand something. We have a challenge in the newspaper business. We're lucky we're still around. We are. We're one of the few still around. And one of the few revenues for us as a newspaper is one of those areas are these legal ads. And it's basically been yanked away from us. And it happens. Okay. There are always challenges in every industry. But this is another one where we as a newspaper just shake our heads and say, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? And what's most bothersome about this was that in the assembly and in the Senate, this was one of the few times that I can think of that it was a bipartisan effort. Republicans and Democrats banded together. Only two people in the entire legislature voted to stop this. Two. Everybody else voted in favor of it. Now, understandable, there are costs involved, but they are nominal. They are nominal. And in my editorial this week, I wrote about it. I hope you'll check it out. It's just another way where when you are in this industry, it becomes much more difficult to survive. And that's the bottom line. And again, I don't want this to sound like I'm just being this pain in the rear and sitting here at home complaining about this. We are very, very grateful that we had the opportunity to publish these legal notices. In fact, I can only thank Mayor Carol Jean Doyle because she made sure that we were the official newspaper of the town of Kearney and of the county of Hudson. And other towns picked up on it, and it was good while it lasted. But unfortunately, on his way out of the governor's mansion, Governor Murphy and the state legislature, all of them gave us a swift kick in the butt one last time. But I'm going to tell you this. They're going to need us at some point. Somebody in the legislature will need us, including the ones who represent us, like Barbara Stamato. I was shocked that she voted for this. And she's been around here a lot lately in Kearney. And they just didn't even think of it. They just voted for it. And when they need us, maybe they'll have to go somewhere else to get the help that they do, in fact, need. So we wanted to let you know about it. It's in this week's edition. It's on page number 6. Take a look at it, and you'll see it doesn't just affect us. It's all newspapers that remain in the state of New Jersey, the few that still exist. And unfortunately, starting March 1st, it's another stream that's gone by the wayside, but that's nothing new. We have dealt with this before. We will beat it again like we have every other time over the years. Lisa says Murphy strikes again, but it's not him. He didn't start this. It was the legislature. And he voted it. He signed the bill. That's for sure, but it wasn't his idea. I have no idea why anybody, and this was the state Senate president who introduced this bill. It's unbelievable. It really is. So, whatever. All right. Just a couple of things that I do also want to mention here. We have this year's female athlete of the year, and this is Asia Akar. This is the second one of 2025. Both of the athletes are from Lyndhurst High School. And this is the second year in a row that both athletes of the year came from Lyndhurst High School. Whatever's happening in Lyndhurst, they're doing incredible work with their athletes. This young lady who was involved in several sports. Her coaches just rave about her, and she's done very, very well academically as well. And she's supposedly going to continue her athletic powers in the coming year in college. So we congratulate her for being the female athlete of the year, which of course is named after our dear departed friend Jim Haig, who we lost 2 years ago, and we miss him very, very much. Do we here at the Observer? Jim was an integral part of this staff for many, many years, over 20 years, and that's why we immediately thought to name this in his honor. So check it out when you get a chance. Another great story. And Jason Bernstein did a great job pulling this story together. And he's got two other stories as well. And don't forget, we have 2 pages of classifieds this week. So there's a lot of apartments for rent. So if you have $5,000 a month to spare on an apartment, you might be able to even get one in this neck of the woods. But check those out. Those are on pages 12 and 13 in this week's edition of the Observer. So I mentioned at the top that this was a little bit of a light week, but we will be back on Friday with Tony Mondero of the Harrison Weather Center to talk about the weekend forecast. And of course, if anything breaks during the course of the week, we will join you live as we do whenever something major does happen. I want to thank people in the chat room. Carol Manley, Chris Coughlin is here, and Cecilia Bleakley Padavano is also here, and of course, Elisa over at the office. I'm home today because it's Tuesday during the summers, but we will see you again very soon. Now, one last thing. If you were expecting to see Juan Barroso today, that is not happening today. However, we're hoping there's some kind of resolution to his case in the coming days. There's no guarantee there will be a resolution, but we are certainly hoping that by this time next week, we won't even have to have Juan here because this thing will be over for fine. For God's sake, it's been going on for the longest time. I think so many people, including Juan especially, are just sick and tired of this thing dragging on for almost 2 years. And God willing, it will be over in the coming days. So if we have anything to report about that, we will. But if not, if it turns out that there is no resolution, Juan will be here with us next week. And in the ideal world, we won't have to bring Juan on the air because it'll be resolved once and for all, finally. So keep an eye out, and we will let you know if anything happens. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays. It is hot out there. Stay hydrated. And we will see you on Friday afternoon. From the home studio, Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.